Welcome again, everybody, and we are starting our discussion today, which is within the framework of the project Ukraine and South Asia Open Dialogues. And the first in the series is Life of Students During the War. The reason being that big part of the South Asian population in Ukraine belongs to the student community. And precisely because of that, during the starting of the war, we had a lot of discussion on evacuation of students. And now even we have discussions on whether they are coming back, how they are coming back, what is happening. There is a lot of debates, lot of problems around it. We will discuss them, but I would like to highlight today several things. But first of all, let us all greet our very, very important guest, without whom, our countries will not be having good relations. That is our ambassador, Ukraine's ambassador to the countries of South Asia, India, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Maldives, and Sri Lanka. His Excellency, Dr. Alexander Polishuk. So I would like you all to greet him and listen to his words. Your Excellency, Alexander Polishuk, please, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Namaste. It's a great pleasure for me to start such discussion because my strong belief that the people-to-people relationship, it's what is the most important thing in any cooperation between any country. Of course, we have the very intensive dialogue between our political leadership, and we are very much grateful that India supporting us in such dark time for the Ukraine. We actually got a humanitarian aid from the Indian people. It's already 16 packages been delivered to Ukraine. We as well very much grateful that on the political level, the India always recognize our independence, our sovereignty and territorial integrity, and always in voting in the UN, India demonstrated the strong support for Ukraine, especially in this domain. This war starts not in 2022. My previous position, I was the Deputy Minister of Defense since 2019. So everything, it was on my eye when the war starts in a full pledge. But I do remember the as well time since 2014 when we had already war when Crimea was occupied, but it was not stopped the students to come to Ukraine and to have the lessons, to have the normal education process in the central part of Ukraine, in the western part of Ukraine. I traveled a lot to the close to the front line since 2019. And it was different life, it was different life in Kyiv because everything was calm, everything was okay. The people normally live like war is not exist. But in the front line, you see that close to this line, like Avdiivka or Kremina or some other small cities, people waking up in the morning and they're going with the kids to the school, and suddenly it's shelling, and it's just stop people on the time of shelling, and then they continue. It's actually impressed me very much. And when war came to the Kyiv with a rocket strike, with the sirens, when the Russians started their march in the direction to Kyiv, it was shock for everybody. Why I tell you that right now I feel that people in Kyiv again adopted to the war. the people try to live normally, and it's good, and it's very much welcome, because we couldn't be in stress for the whole time. But for the students, it's a big question, especially for those who are foreigners. Should they live in such strange circumstances, or they need to live? I know definitely that Ukrainian government paid a lot of attention to set up the courses or to move some institutes from eastern part of Ukraine to the western part of Ukraine. And with that, I will be very much interested to listen to you, to hearing you. Are you feeling secure? Are you comfortable with that? Or why I need to promote here the next wave of students? Shall I attract them to come to Ukraine? The lot of interest here still, not only in India, in Bangladesh. Just recently we had the visit of our Prime Minister. It was short stop on his way to the Japan, but we met the people from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Bangladesh, from Ministry of Education of Bangladesh, and they said that they are not expecting any problem with sending the students to Ukraine. I definitely need to have your proof. So with that, let me stop for the moment. I will be ready to answer for any of your question. Doesn't matter what kind of you have, because it's interesting for me, the procedures as well. I definitely know that now it's not so easy to come to Ukraine, because you need to use the third country for the transit. Just tell me what kind of problem you have it, if those who actually are looking to come to Ukraine facing with that. Thank you so much, and thank you, Dr. Mridula Ghosh, for the organizing such meeting, because it's the great opportunity for everybody to stay in touch and to share our ideas and our views. Thank you.
And as for the warm welcome, for your very inspiring words. I would now like to read out to you another welcome address by Mr. Harsh Jain, His Excellency, the Ambassador of India to Ukraine. I will share screen because I want you to see his address. If please tell me if you can see it.
Yes.
Do you see it? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now let me put it, in the demonstration mode. So this is, dear participants, I extend my warm greetings to you. I'm glad to learn that East European Development Institute has launched the Ukraine and South Asia Open Dialogue Project to promote mutual understanding between the people of Ukraine and the people of South Asia. As we navigate through the turbulent times marked by the ongoing war in Ukraine and consequent uncertainty, I admire the resilience and courage shown by the people of Ukraine and all the foreign students studying in the country. I understand the struggle and disruption the Indian students had to face through during the last 2 years. I wish they can successfully complete their education in a safe and stress-free environment. I'm glad that this project is being commenced with the dialogue between the students. Besides their professional and intellectual growth, students can play an important role in fostering meaningful connections between the people of two nations. I'm confident that the Ukraine and South Asia Open Dialogue Project will contribute in developing a better understanding of the culture, values, and aspirations of the people of Ukraine and people of India. Wish you to have a fruitful discussion. Thank you. So that was his address. And I would like now to ask our first guest. But before I do that, I would like to say it is Madam Anna Levchyk. She is the regional coordinator and manager for Asia of the very very important project called the unissued diplomas. What are those unissued diplomas? As you know, every day we have students giving their lives, students being killed under different circumstances. And this is an unique exhibition created by students of the National University of Kyiv Mohyla Academy. I'm proud because I'm also teaching in that same university, so it's our group. And so please, Anna Levchyk, it's your take. If you want to show the presentation, I have already done the multiple modes, so you can do it. And welcome. Yeah.
Do you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Okay. My name is Anna. I'm a student at Kyiv Mohyla Academy, and I'm also a regional manager of Unissued Diplomas. It's a worldwide exhibition project, a student-led project that's aimed to honor the memory of those students who were unable to graduate because their lives were taken by Russian aggression. Unfortunately, at the moment, we don't have the full number of students, how many of them were killed in Ukraine since the beginning of the Russian invasion. I looked yesterday at just 5 universities in Kyiv, and they've lost 53 students so far. And there's hardly a single university in Ukraine that hasn't lost at least one student. So the total estimate is probably in hundreds. So what we do in Unissued Diplomas is we make exhibitions that tell the stories of 40 different Ukrainian students that were killed in the war. This project started in January of 2023 by a group of Kyiv Mohyla Academy students during our exchange semester at the University of Toronto. And I joined the project a few weeks later. The goals of the project first is to honor, to commemorate the students who were killed by Russian aggression, to remind the world of the ongoing war waged by Russia on Ukraine. That's why we focus on making those exhibitions not in Ukraine, but around the world. And our goal this year is to raise money for a scholarship fund that will cover the education cost for one student yearly, because we believe in higher education. We believe that that's our future, and we cannot allow Russia to take it away from us. Our exhibitions, as the name of the project suggests, display the stories of deceased students in the form of diplomas that were never issued to them. In the process of creating a diploma, members of our team interview the relatives of the deceased students. Some of those students are very different. Some of them were soldiers, some of them were civilians who were killed just when sleeping in their homes. One student was a mother of 2, and we ask their relatives to tell us more about their personalities, their hobbies, their career aspirations, what countries they wanted to visit. We want to show the real people behind war statistics. There's one story, one diploma, which initially we didn't know how to deal with and whether to include in our exhibition. Is the story of Lia Krylova. When we started researching her case, we found out that there's no close relative or close person to her who could tell us her story, because her and her family, her boyfriend and her close friends were killed at the same time in their house, in her house in Mariupol. So there's no one who could tell us her story. When we started discussing that case, we realized that that fact in itself is extremely important to tell. And it shows us why it's so important to carry their memories, that there are people who remember and carry their stories forward. As of now, we don't have the finalized statistic, the finalized results of this year, because Many exhibitions are still in progress. Many exhibitions are still being arranged. But as of now, we've held over 250 exhibitions in 30 countries around the world. Last year, our fundraising goal was different. We've raised $15,000 Canadian dollars for drones and medical equipment. And this year's fundraising campaign is still ongoing. We are aiming to fundraise $75,000 for the scholarship fund. And as far as I know, we've raised $3,000 already. Here's our last year's map of the locations we've reached. I've added red dots where some of the new locations we've reached this year. It's Nigeria, Indonesia, Taiwan, and South Korea.
Anna, sorry for the moment, but we on the screen just your
only the
slide.
first slide. We cannot see your slides. You are not.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my God.
The first slide is there. So please,
sorry.
Can you please switch on the slides because it's only one, the title slide, yeah.
Do you see it now?
We see only the title slide.
Yeah.
Countries where the exhibitions were held.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Maybe you can do it in the regular mode if it is okay with you.
Do you see the map now?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. So here's the map of the locations that we've reached and the red dots of the countries that we've reached this year. Let me show you quickly like how our diplomas look like. So that's some pictures from our exhibitions. Do you see now it's changing?
No.
No?
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now?
Yes, we can see it now.
So that's how the diplomas look like. I don't know what seems to be the problem. Is it changing now?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Okay, so that's we've also used promotional posters to promote our project. Here you can see some pictures from Toronto. We put them around the city. We used them in demonstrations around different countries. Some of the phrases we used, for example, he wanted to study history, not become it. He dreamed of prosecuting war criminals, and now his death is evidence against them. So some catchy phrases that draw attention to our cause. And now some of the pictures just from our exhibitions. Let me know if you see them.
Yes, we do.
Yes. I'm so sorry. I don't know. So typically we ask our local organizers to hold their exhibitions at university campuses, but it's not only limited to university campuses. It can be art galleries, city halls, local businesses, just maybe on the streets where lots of people can see the diplomas. Okay. Right now you should see the South Korea and Japan exhibitions.
No, we see USA and Australia.
Now?
Yeah, now we can see Japan and South Korea.
Okay, so for about the South Korean exhibition this year, it was held, for example, during the protest on February 24th in front of the Russian embassy. So lots of people had the chance to see our diplomas there. And here in Indonesia this year, our exhibition was attended by the Honorary Consul of Ukraine in Bali. And in Norway, the Prime Minister of Norway attended our exhibition. In Slovakia, the president of Slovakia attended it, and our Lithuanian exhibition was opened with a video address by the First Lady of Ukraine, Olena Zelenska. So thank you so much for your attention. Please check out our website. You can read the stories of our students on the website. You can also see the locations and dates for our next exhibitions. And if you're interested in helping to organize an exhibition in your city outside of Ukraine, also you can find a Google form on our website. And if you have any questions, you can contact me directly through my email or in our social media. We'll be happy to connect, and we're happy to welcome any volunteers who are interested. Yeah, so I'll be happy to answer any questions.
কি ক্লাস হচ্ছে তো
Can you please mute yourself, please?
I see that Mr. Anurag Krishna had the question.
Yeah, you have a question, but yeah, would you like to put it now?
Ma'am, I would like to put it later, maybe.
Okay, later. Thank you. Oh, okay, so maybe we can close the presentation now. I will share your contacts with everyone, and now I would like to share a small presentation to include. But before that, let us all, for those people with unissued diplomas, may I request you all to observe some moments of silence to honor the memory of those who left us and remain forever as students. Please. Thank you. Before we move to our next participant, I would like to again share my screen with you and show you the dynamics of what really happened. How did we reach this stage that we are? Again, I will show you some statistics, but behind these statistics, we have concrete lives and concrete fates. So I would like to start the presentation. Do you see my presentation? Tell me, please.
Yes, ma'am, we can see.
Yes,
Okay.
we can see.
So, first of all, this is the estimate from, let's say, 2011 till 2019 by the ministry. The Ministries of Education and Science gives us this data. The additional information that is written is, as of January 2022, international students numbered more than 84,000. It was not possible for the government every minute to estimate how many students are enrolled, but as of that year, it was more than 84,000 from 158 countries. So you can imagine the diversity that Ukraine had in terms of international students. Now, which were the top countries? And now you will understand the rationale behind the activity that we are undertaking today. India, Morocco, Azerbaijan, Turkmenistan, Nigeria, Turkey, China, Egypt, Israel, and Uzbekistan. May I need to point you out that although India is the largest, in terms of numbers of people coming, I do believe that, from South Asian countries, also students are coming. Maybe their smaller numbers do not allow them to reach these proportions, but there are other countries which are also sending a lot of students. Now, what happened really, which are the places that were more attractive for them? As in this map, you can see which were the cities and the estimated numbers of students that were present spread across. Kharkiv, the city which is terribly devastated today by constant shelling, by constant missile attacks. Kharkiv was the largest. It was even called a student city. When you go out to the streets of Kharkiv, you only see a lot of students from different countries. And we did some analysis 2008 and 9, and the largest percentage of students that participated were from Kharkiv. The next comes Kyiv, of course, the capital. But if you see like Ternopil, Vinnytsia, they do not lag behind. And even we had like in Luhansk and Donetsk before the war started in 2014, there were more than 1,200 students that were evacuated from there. So this map is after the attack, so it was 832. The estimates are shown a little later. I would like to show you now a photo of Lviv, which is from the Banking University of Lviv. It dates back to 2017, where you see, students from different countries are wearing the traditional Ukrainian vyshyvanka, and they are performing, they are singing or doing something on the stage. And this was a festival dialogue of culture. So from such a lovely life, we land up to what situation? We come to this situation. And left side, you can see the institutions that attracted the maximum number of students willing to study different disciplines. The main ones are medicine, then comes the other, technical disciplines. Some are even interested in philology, some in history, but less. But mostly it is the medical specializations. It is dentistry, it is general medicine, and a lot of other branches, pediatry and others, surgery. Before the war, if we had 84,000 students, and after 1 year of war, imagine how many students studied, 51,600, but not all of them were inside Ukraine. They had to have a hybrid mode. So a lot of students left the country because they could not afford to stay in such an insecure position, and they were evacuated. Like more than 20,000 opted for leaving Ukraine and going to other countries. That's natural because not everyone is able to cope with this insecurity, constant threat of your life. Now, during 2022 and 23, only 11,000 completed their studies in Ukraine. So this picture is very dismal. This might discourage people from coming and studying. Yes, it is of course true, but at the same time, I would like to show you the scale of devastation that happened. These are pictures from, different sources of publicly available sources. You have seen innumerable number of pictures. I'm sorry to say that the pictures of Ukraine today is always you see war and destruction. Otherwise, which is a very beautiful, very nice country with lots of gems of architecture all over the place. However, today we see this destruction. In the first two photos, you can see the state of the buildings as they were before and what happened after the shelling and after the bombardment. By June, only in a couple of months, 43 universities were affected and 5 were completely destroyed. And by May 2023, in Kharkiv, 22 out of 24 universities suffered as a result of shelling. So you can imagine the immense destruction done to the educational infrastructure, which is a civilian object. It is not a military object, not a target of warfare. And as of now, we can see that 40 higher educational institutions have been relocated to other parts of Ukraine, and 91,000 students, not only foreigners, but others, are studying. This is 6.7% of the total number of students in Ukraine. And of course, the 52,000 or 51,000 that I've mentioned is international students. They continue to study in hybrid format. And some of them are present in Ukraine. With two of them, you will meet today. They will present their stories. And with others, you can just get to know what they are doing. I will give you the five such students. One is each of their lives are unique. They are unique personalities. We sometimes forget, when we look at statistics, so many thousands and then so many thousands. But this is a very, I would say this is a very not so human approach, because every statistics, every number counts, every human being counts. I mean, from the human rights standpoint, which is the core ideal of even our institute. So we prefer that, faces be shown and ideas and personalities be revealed. So the first one was a unique personality from Egypt who was studying in Ivano-Frankivsk, a western city, of Ukraine. But he was saving people because he had a car and he had friends who were staying in Bucha. He was evacuating people from Bucha. So he traveled such a long way to save people from the vicinity of Kyiv, a city he did not really study in. So you can imagine the dedication. The second one is Sam Gupta from India, who came back after evacuation. There were a lot of them evacuated. But then he belongs to those rare people who came back. And he's volunteering in a medical team today. He's a surgeon and is passing through this internship, I think. Now, the centerpiece is by Vavi Nazare, whose news today in the Indian Express made a big news in India. There's a big piece that is written about her, that she works as an intern in the Kyiv Central City Hospital. She stayed back. She didn't go back. So this is a very ideal, way of showing solidarity and resilience with the people of Ukraine. These people are not engaged in politics. These people are not engaged in warfare. They are medical people. They help people to save lives. So this is so important mission, the mission of doctors. Now, Ihab Hatib, another person, a PhD student from Israel, he was in Ternopil. He evacuated others, but he himself stayed back and is volunteering till today. And we should not forget Uradi Mohammed Fuad, who is a house surgeon from Morocco. He was extremely pressured by the parents, by everybody, come back, do not stay, but he decided to stay back, and he assisted doctors during operations and continues to do it till today. So these stories inspire us. We cannot have all of them here because they are doctors, they are busy. And so if time and again, I have already appealed to many of them. So if we find opportunities, we will organize and we will let you meet more such people. Now, I would like now to tell you that, we move on to our four stories, one of which we have heard. And now I would like you to hear our second story from Anurag Krishna, who is a student from India in the city of Vinnytsia. He is going to be a doctor. He's a fifth-year student. So let's hear Anurag, please. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Pam. It was a very moving presentation, plus the introduction of all the topics on issued diplomas. It was really inspiring and also sad. Good morning, everyone. My name is, I believe it's good afternoon in Ukraine. And yes, so my name is Anurag Krishna. I'm from Bhagalpur, Bihar, India. Right now I'm the fifth course medical student in Vinnytsia National Medical University. I'm the head of the international students, and I consider Ukraine as my second home. And when I came to Ukraine in 2019, I have seen very different Ukraine. Now, where I'm living now, it's very different. I still see the calmness, I still see the hustle and bustle, but on everyone's face, there is a sadness, there is hope also, there is a lot of courage to face the atrocity. People are angry, people are devastated. 6th of July 2022, I came back to Ukraine via Moldova. after my visa got rejected for 2 times, after a lot of questions asked, why you are going to Ukraine, what you will get, the war is there, news everywhere. I secretly took the visa. I didn't inform my parents. A week before, when I was coming, I told my parents that, Papa, Mummy, I'm just leaving for Ukraine. They said that no one is there right now, no Indian is there. What you will do there? There is no classes going on, even online, there is no classes. I said, I believe if I'll go, I will do something. I'll feel good because I went to India 3 years. After 3 years, getting admitted in our university, and it was 1 month before the war. I went to India in 23 on 23rd of January 2022, and I was having that feeling, the rush to come back here, because my return ticket was on 28th of February, and it got cancelled because of the airspace got closed. My tickets got cancelled. Anyway, I came to Ukraine on 6th of July. It was 2:40 in the morning, and I wasn't aware of the martial law. The vehicle of police spotted us, patrolling police. They came to us. I was dragging the trolley bag with one of my friends, Supratim, who also worked as volunteer in the medical team. I came with him. Kudos to that guy, brave one. Police came to us. They asked for our document. We showed. They asked why you are here. You know that it's war now, no university. I said that that's why I came. I believe that I can be of some help. With a lot of smile on their face, they escorted us back to our home in their own car. Of course, we came home very safely. We made little fun, and that's it. And the real journey starts after 6th of July. The first wave of fear and seeing the death so close was when I was coming back from Vokzal, from the station to my home on 14th of July. I just crossed the building of Pan Officiale, and there was a thud. The tram stopped, and nobody knew what happened, where the rocket got struck on the Vinnytsia, maybe nearby, but I didn't knew that it's like 2 kilometers behind me. Tram started. I came back home. I heard that there was an attack on one of the building in Vinnytsia. Out of curiosity, I went there. Police were there. Everything was barricaded. People were there from a long distance. Black fumes all around, ambulance, sirens, police, media. We came to know on social media that this building was damaged and it was bombarded. The worst part during this news was the attack was also on a medical center, Neuromed, where patients were there, doctors were there, and many of them lost their life. One of the doctor, he also taught us for some in seminar, and he was a very nice person. So me as a foreigner on this land, it should not matter, that this is not my country. I should not care about this. There can be thoughts, but when I choose the profession to be a doctor, to be a surgeon, future surgeon, or to work in the field of medicine, of course, the first thing I should care about is humanity. Even a normal person who is not a doctor also should care about humanity. It was a bizarre situation. The situation of 14th July made everyone, they just, it took us off ground. Time passed, people started healing, they started talking less about this thing. We started moving. Still, bombardment near some areas in Kyiv, they kept on refreshing the memory of terror, the fear, the sadness, the hopelessness. But because of this scenario, several thousands of air raid alarms made us very strong. We are so much powerful. We feel powerful. We feel courageous that we can face any atrocity. We pray to Almighty that we won't be able to face some worst scenario, but with Ukrainians, I feel more powerful. I feel more lucky to be walking with people shoulder to shoulder. When foreign students started coming after seeing me that, okay, Anurag is there, few more students are going, they started coming here. The campus started getting filled. Many students took transfer to different countries. According to the statistics, more than half of the students, they went from our university and across Ukraine, of course. I never thought of taking transfer from Ukraine because I believe that I owe to this land and I should return something big to this land. During my initial days, I used to volunteer. I used to go to rehabilitation center to learn and also to help the needy people. Not only people, pets, dogs, cats, they were also scattered because of the war, because of the huge refugee influx in our city also. Many left their pets. I used to go to animal shelter with my friends, with the food. We used to take care of them sometimes. And this was our daily day work. Since I came to Ukraine, there were a lot of issues with apartments. The owner used to say that we are going to displace these things of your friends. We are not going to keep. Nobody knows when they are going to come. To make them understand that soon they are going to come. It's just the issue of visa. It's just the issue of time. We are not waiting that war will end, then we will come. We are waiting that when we will get the visa and we can come here, we can start our studies. We can come and help if needed. Then the winter came. Attack on power supplies, attack on water supplies made the life of whole Ukraine at a verge. Everybody were devastated. They were losing hope somewhere by seeing that there is no water supply, there is no electricity. 8 hours, 16 hours, no light, 2 days. In villages, the conditions were more bad. But anyhow, that phase passed. Everything got settled. What was dismantled got mended, repaired, and we started again. We faced the hurdle and we started again. Grocery prices were high. They were skyrocketing. Students tried their best to live sustainably, save the money. They used to go to teachers. Teachers used to say that right now it's not easy and it's not comfortable for you also, and it's not safe for you also to come and study here right now. It's air alarm. You have to go to shelter. But still, just like me, just like my friends, we stood with the teacher. Yes, we told them that we need to study. We'll study offline. We'll see what you're doing, which surgery you are going to do. And with them, we used to stand and we used to watch surgeries, even during the air alarms. There was a situation faced by Indian students when they were absolutely not getting visas. Absolutely. The visas from all the Schengen countries, visas from Moldova, and any country was not giving visas, especially to Indian students, to some African nations, and it was really, really devastating. But with time, as it rolled, every student started getting the visas. They started coming. Right now, we are 800 Indians, 60 to 70 students from Nigeria. We have students from other Arabic countries. We are happy here. We are fighting. We are studying. We are trying to organize some small projects, some programs for donation for the JSOU. And it's our privilege that in this historic struggle of Ukrainians, we are here and we are trying to help them. And people in Ukraine have been very, very, very kind to the foreigners. I have never felt any kind of discrimination that you are from different land. Question might arise from here and there, why this, why that, but I believe we Indian students are very, very cooperative with the locals, and locals are also very, very cooperative with us. The major issues were also the studies related to online and offline. For some times, it was absolutely online because majority of the students were in India. And in medicine, we need practice. We need a lot of practicals apart from a lot of theories. This was also a reason when a lot of students came to Ukraine to get indulged in offline studies. Overall, these are small struggles that Indian students with international students were facing and are facing during the war crisis. Now, our university administration has given us a lot of opportunity to participate in military training, participating in any kind of surgical interventions, helping us for organizing different conferences, helping us to do any kind of co-curricular activity. And as a very proud Indian, I feel that being on this land makes me a more better person, what I was. So I am very happy to be in Ukraine, and I salute to all the soldiers who are working for us, who are standing for us, to all the volunteers. That's from my side. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Slava Ukraina.
Heroyam Slava. Thank you, Anurag, for your very, very, very emotional and very open-hearted speech, presentation. At the end, we can have a Q&A where you can ask if anything else has to be said. So it was brilliant. It was very, very true, whatever you said. We face problems, but the problems somehow go away. That's life. And we become a better person. That's the main takeaway from here, that in this condition, if you stay in Ukraine, you become a better human being. And that's ultimately what we are born for. Thank you. Now I would like to introduce you. Yes, you have something. You raised your hand, please.
I just wanted to say, when I was in India, sorry that I interrupted.
Just be very short, because we have two more presentations.
Sure, just 2 minutes. Right. Yes, we just want to know that, I read a quote when I was at the border of India, Pakistan, and it was written there that the flag of India doesn't flutter because of the air. It flutters because by the last breath of Indian soldiers. And I say the same for Ukraine. These blood-shattering incidences. And these things makes Ukraine more stronger. And I believe that I see my future in Ukraine. I'll stand from Ukraine. Я люблю Україну.
Thank you.
Скоро все буде окей. Це буде Україна.
Thank you.
Рім'я
Thank you.
теж.
Дякую.
Це Україна. Thank you so much.
Дякую. 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 Thank you. Thank you. Now I would like to introduce you to a very unique personality. She's among us, and she is just returned from India. She is Sofi Somia, who was the Miss Ukraine of 2022. At that time, she was just 18 years old. And what did she do? Apart from her outer and internal beauty, she inspired children. How? She paints pictures. Apart from being just a very beautiful individual, she is creative. She paints pictures, and she sold her pictures and gathered $5,000 to $7,000. I do not want to speak on your behalf, but I think you might feel shy to talk about these. And that young girl supported children in Lviv, where she was temporarily staying. She hails from a great family. Her parents inspire her for this. And I happen to know her family also, so I'm very proud that, she is a wonderful individual. And then she went to contest the Miss World in 2023, which happened just in India, just a week back. She's back just 11th March, I think you're back from India. So you are a gem among us. And so we would love to hear you. Please, Sophia, the word is yours.
So, hi everyone. As it was mentioned before, my name is Sofi and Somia, and I will tell shortly about myself right now. A part of me being a student currently, I study international relations. I'm also a co-founder of 2 Japanese cafes in Ukraine. I think that's the fact that I don't really tell often, but also I currently hold the title of Miss Ukraine. Despite that, I strongly believe that each of us has their own purpose in lives. And what personally drives me, as it was mentioned before, it's connected to my project, to my meaning of my life. What personally drives me every day is knowing that I can brighten someone's day. Seeing the positive impact of even small acts of kindness fill me with happiness from an early age. Whenever it was rescuing cats and bringing them home, or comforting every child I saw in my school crying before. I've always been driven by the desire to make a difference in people's lives and bringing smile to their faces. And thankfully, Miss Ukraine's platform has allowed me to reach an even larger audience. Throughout this wonderful journey, I have been learning a great deal, not only from my team, but also from every child and person I met along the way. A month ago, I had an honor of representing our beautiful country, Ukraine, in the Miss World competition, along with 116 other countries. The competition took itself in India, with events held in New Delhi and beautiful city Mumbai. And I'm really grateful for the warm acceptance I received from this country, with its immense background and its amazing history. Throughout this journey, I have connected with people from around the globe, diving into diverse cultures and stories and promoting global understanding. And most importantly, I was being able to shed light on the profound challenges and hardships experienced by youth in Ukraine and present my charity project. And I will share the screen with you right now because I'm starting to talk about really important topic for me. And I would say our personal winning. 1 minute. I'm feeling a little bit sick still, as it was mentioned before. I just returned from India, so I think I still have some acclimatization. So I'm really sorry for it in advance. So, okay, hope I can connect. Okay. Okay, can you see something right now?
Yeah, it's a lot, it's a lot of photos and very, very interesting stuff that you're showing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I will explain shortly what is it. And so, as I mentioned before, I was being able to meet so many wonderful people from all around the world. And what is more important, I was able, I will scroll a little bit, I managed to win the title of Best European Beauty with a Purpose project. Beauty with a Purpose, for those who doesn't really know, itself is one of the main pillars of the Miss World competition, emphasizing humanitarian efforts and social responsibility. And as you can see on this photo, like I can tell you, when I first heard about the win, it was so overwhelming that I cried on the stage during my speech. And there are some photos that you can see me crying while delivering the speech. Those tears weren't born of fear or anxiety. They flowed from my pain, buried deep inside, a pain that every Ukrainian shares. I was so overwhelmed that I couldn't even share a smile with the other winners. Here you can see I'm the only one not smiling, because I felt a seasoned anger as I recalled my charity journey, witnessing countless children and young people lost in the chaos of war, yet still clinging to the hope. It felt unjust for me. None of them deserved such suffering. And looking at all other contestants, it was a reminder for me of the unequal world we live in. To be honest, if I'm talking about myself, when the war started in Ukraine, I had just graduated from high school. I'm 19 years old now. And because of this, I didn't have many opportunities for socialization. As soon as I was accepted into university, everything went online and I moved to another city closer to the west part of Ukraine for safety reasons. It was Lviv. When I heard the stories of other participants, as you can see, there is a lot of different photos, and I saw so many, and I heard so many stories from them about their college life, about college years and their life difficulties. And I realized how the war had affected me and each of us, how our values changed after the war started. That's why I'm thrilled today to be a part of this amazing initiative, where I have the opportunity to share my own thoughts with you. After returning to Ukraine, I decided to gather information for my small research project. I conducted interviews with more than 10 Ukrainian and already more than 10 international students about their university experiences, and it became really evident that our perspectives diverge significantly. Before exploring the responses, I want to emphasize that all the problems are respected and equally important. The purpose here is to highlight the differences in thinking, not to measure the relevance. I'm sorry, my throat hurts a little bit. And I asked the students about their hardest and happiest moments during their university years, as well as their individual experiences. And the answers provided made a clear contrast. While students from other countries primarily expressed apprehensions about time management, about their worries, about exams and GPA, Ukrainian students struggled with a far more intimidating reality. Their worries revolved around the threats of air alarms, blackouts, missile attacks, and the lack of socialization. For some students, the happiest moments entailed gathering with peers for fun events and just, forming new friendships. However, others, Ukrainian students, found joy in their ability to adapt to the current circumstances and continue their education despite their difficulties. One Ukrainian student I spoke to mentioned that their biggest challenge during the university is to process information after such a horror and stress, after missile attacks and strikes and terrible nights of not sleeping. She said she feels really unfocused in classes because her brain struggles to process information after this terrible horror that she needs to experience. Personally, in addition to the factors I mentioned before, I also experienced several other issues. I started to feel demotivated by online study due to feelings of isolation and encountering several self-discipline problems. One of the main factors contributing to the demotivations is also a need to seek to the shelter during air alarms, which can occur 3 to 5 times a day. And statistically, one air alarm lasts up to 59 minutes. And imagine that. How can you concentrate on a study where you need to seek for a shelter at least 3 times a day? It's crucial to recognize that the current issue extends beyond simply supplying Ukrainian students with national resources. It's about nutrition, a new generation prepared to rebuild after the war. The challenges facing Ukrainian students in conflict zones have significant consequences for our country's future. And I think investing in our education means investing in a generation capable of rebuilding and shaping a brighter future for all of us. Therefore, I think focusing on education during times of conflict not only will protect our well-being, but also will set a stage for stronger and more resilient society after the war. But what can we do as ordinary students, right? Because I think it's a hard question for all of us. How can we support each other? Together, let's take action. Whether it's fostering supportive communities, or lending an ear to those in distress, or organizing any social fun activities together. Any of these efforts can make a difference. Based on my experience with children and young people, I have seen how simply listening, interacting, I will show you, oh, sorry, I will show you another slide. I have seen how simply listening, interacting, and communicating can give a hope. Expressing love, care, empathy, and providing emotional support can influence their motivation and future potential. Casual chats and kind gestures create connections, instilling resilience and unity, especially in efforts like rebuilding our country. And from my own experience, I've talking with kids so many times, and it was such a surprising thing for me when the happiest part of our meeting for them was just to put their hand in a paint and put a hand full of a paint on a canvas. Can you imagine a kid being happy with it in such our century? When I ask other participants about their maybe sisters or small nieces, totally different background, totally different way of being totally different way of delivering happiness. I just want to convey how much our values are different from other countries' students and youth itself. And personally, I had to experience it because of Miss World competition and because of opportunity to meet so many different backgrounds and so many different cultures. And to tell you shortly about my charity project, as it was mentioned before, I help the victims of the war. And my project is surrounded by helping to stabilize the mentality of young people. I concentrate on small things, I would say. I'm holding art therapy sessions. I'm holding story time telling with the kids and different celebratory events to help lift up the flames in their eyes, to help them feel happy, at least for a moment, because I don't want to hear, like, as I said on my speech, actually on a stage, when I was presenting my charity project on a beauty with a purpose topic. I said, I remember one kid in Ohmadet. It's a hospital. I'm sure a lot of us know about it. It's a hospital for young patients from occupied territories. I remember one kid coming to me and saying so casually, I like your dress. You look pretty in it. And then she says, but you know what? My mom and dad died. And she's saying it really casually. And I have heard so many stories about kids telling such horrible stuff really casually because they don't have any other happiness in their lives. One of them lost leg, one of them lost their parent. Is this the topic we need to talk about? No, I want to transfer their minds to something else. So that's why I'm trying as much as I can to concentrate on art therapies and on gathering kids together to help to stabilize their mentality and maybe to distract them from the current events that are happening in our country. Also, as it was mentioned before, I'm holding as much charity auctions as I can. I've been able to sell my paintings abroad, to Japan and to other countries, and specifically also to Ukraine. And the collected funds I was being able to transfer not only to educational centers in different countries in Ukraine, in different cities in Ukraine, but also to our frontline medics organizations to support our defenders. So shortly saying, to sum up my speech, let's just all ensure that students and our youth, that will be our future, and that will shape our future, have access to resources for mental health support. And let's together create safe spaces where they can express themselves and find relief. I believe that together we can empower the next generation to preserve and strive, even in the midst of war. So thank you so much for listening to me, and I will be happy to hear your questions later. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia, so much. Thank you so much for this very inspirational speech. I know you were not so well, but we really appreciate it. We really appreciate your coming to us and opening your heart and telling all your experiences. And I believe that this will not be the first meeting. Yes, I see Victoria Hapetchenko has raised her hand, but the Q&A, we will push it towards the end if you don't mind, yes? Because we have one more speaker and another speaker will be there who will tell us from Konstantinovka, something very challenging, okay? So right now, I would like to ask you to switch over again to the international students mode. We have Somia Hazel Tokno. Did I pronounce your name correctly, my dear?
Yes, ma'am,
Okay.
it's somewhat right.
All right, it's somewhat right. Okay, but you're a lovely person, and you have great aspirations to be a good doctor. One of the things that I would like all the Ukrainian policymakers to shortly understand, because I work also with the policymakers, that making doctors is not just a contract deal. Education is about passing values. And the best thing that Ukraine has already, this potential, and it's a great potential that can be utilized, is by making good doctors, you make good human beings and you support humanity. So this message, I think all of you push it and carry it wherever you are, from your positions to all policymakers of Ukraine, that the reserve of international students becoming doctors is a very big investment Ukraine has been making. And you are also making Ukraine great. So you have the word, Somia, my dear, please.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Very good afternoon to everyone present here and to all our respected delegates. I'm Somia Hazel Tokno, and I'm a fifth-year student of medicine at the Vinnytsia National Medical University. And I feel really blessed and delighted to be a part of this conference. I was born in India in the city of Dhanbad, which is lying in the state of Jharkhand. My dream was to become a doctor and serve humanity by helping people in need. So when I first came to Ukraine, I was very delighted and very overwhelmed by the hospitality of people in Ukraine. Everyone here was really generous to us, and they helped us out through any situations that we went through. Like, there was a lot of situations which weren't favorable for us, like interaction issues, and because we were new students, so it was not nice for us, and it was very new environment for us to have a new language, a new environment. So we had some interaction issues, but very fortunately, people here really helped us. And it took us around a year to dwell in the new environment, but we were able to overcome this. But right then, the situation of COVID-19 broke. It was just for around 6 months of our studies that we were able to do here. And right after 6 months, on 22nd of March, we had this COVID-19 pandemic, which broke in, and we were shifted to an online mode of study, which affected our opportunity to practice our practical skills. And after around 8 months of COVID-19, we had to go back to India because it was a last chance to go back to India. And our parents were really anguished, and they were really afraid about how we'll survive or we'll deal this COVID-19 situation, because my family had lost 3 members in this COVID-19 pandemic, and it was not a delighted moment for us. It was really shocking, and that is the reason why our parents called us and just called us to come back to India, and then we just came back to India. So we somehow managed to, do our practices in our regional hospitals and respective cities. But it took us around 11 months break to come back to to Ukraine due to the global transportation crisis at that time. So after 11 months, we came back to Ukraine, and we were then able to resume our studies and practices here. So we had a mixed format of study, and we had offline as well as online mode of study. But right after 6 months, I guess, the Russian invasion took place, and everything here fell apart. Initially, we had to face a lot of problems in the first week, as there were really big queues of people around the banks and bank ATMs, and even the grocery stores were short of groceries. So it was a very hard time for us. At first, we didn't had a plan to go back to our countries, and we decided to stay here. And we even bought like a 1 month ration, because we were not able to get a chance to go to the grocery stores, because the stocks were really going out, and it was a panicking time for us. But we still thought of staying here. And then after seeing all of this, and like after a week, we had sirens going on. Our first siren was at around 3:30 in the morning, and it was really scary for us, because in my room, it was a 4-seater room, and I was like staying there, and it was really hard for us. Like, because our hostel had a lot of Indian students, so I just heard some people, discussing at a very loud noise at 3:30.
Yeah.
So we were suggested to,
Shusha?
we were suggested.
Narushka? Oh my God. No, dobre.
Mridula, you are not muted.
Yeah, I have a problem that someone got the electricity, severed, so it's okay. I don't want to interrupt. Please continue. It's all right. We will cope with it. No. Sorry.
So here in the hostel, there were a lot of students who were panicking, and they were shouting, "What should we do? What should we do?" But initially, we were given instructions that we should keep our lights off. And then we decided to take our passports, and we just grabbed our jackets, and then we just came out of the hostel. And our hostel doesn't have a bunker, so we were standing at the first ground floor of the building, and we saw all of the students were really panicked, and they were afraid to go out at this moment, because it was our first time to experience such a thing. So everybody was inside the building, and then we just asked the hostel wardens and commandants to, like, what should we do in this situation, because there were a lot of students. It was around 300 to 400 people in just one floor, and it was very devastating at that time. So we just grabbed our passports and just our jackets, and we just came out. And our university had a bunker, so university is just around 20 to 30 steps away from here. So we just went to our university, and when we went to the bunker, we had to skip our meals at that time, because we were too afraid to come out of the bunkers. It was the first time having these situations in our life, and we just spent the whole night there, and it was very shivering. It was very cold, and all our friends gathered together, and we were all sitting together so that we may not catch cold in that cool area. So it was all about the bunkers that we were staying in. And after just 1 week, we got to know that the war got really intense. And during evacuation, some of my friends were also present in the Kyiv airport, and they faced this scary situation themselves. And one of them even lost their passports in the rush, and they even heard gunshots there. So when we heard this, it was really nerve-wracking for us. And one of my friend's friend even got killed in the shelling in Kharkiv. This really broke us, and then only we decided to take the step of going back to India. Right then, Indian government organized Operation Ganga, through which we were airlifted back to India. And our parents back there in India were really afraid and terrified about our well-being and safe evacuation from the Ukraine. And this was a really big discussion in India, and hence the media eventually got to know about our passports. And then we were like where we were studying, and all our whereabouts were known by the media. And they went to my house, and they like in hopes to know about the problem what we were facing. But eventually and unluckily, we were not even able to contact our parents due to shortage of our batteries. Like our cell phones were really dying at that time because the queue was very long and we had to stand for a lot of time. So in the borderlines of the Romania. So after that, when we were passing through the border of the Ukraine, it was very hard for us as we stood in the Romanian border for straight 2 days in the heavy snowfall. At that time, our main goal was getting out, because around 30 to 40,000 people were at the same place, and they were all Ukrainians, Indians, Africans, Arabs, and a lot of people of all different ethnicities. And at the Romanian border, we walked for around 12 to 15 kilometers so that we may reach to the border. And eventually, after walking for 12 to 15 kilometers, we reached the border. And all of us had a lot of luggages, and all our friends, we were in a group. So all of us had ample luggage. So many of were exhausted, taking their luggages to the border and walking for around 12 to 15 kilometers. So the queue was totally occupied, and this was more like a survival of the fittest for us. So the queue was occupied, and then we were also standing at the same spot for hours and hours. And we were really exhausted by the situation that was there. But the management of Chernivtsi, the border, it helped us in a very warm way, because they provided us warm bread, tea, milk, mashed potatoes, which really gave us energy. They even fired up some fire for us, and it was really nice. It was really nice hospitality for us, and it was really nice to have them there, because it was really cold, and it was our first time standing for 2 days straight at such a situation. So it was really devastating for us, but they really gave us this warmth to see the situation and handle the situation very nicely. So luckily, after 2 days, we were able to cross the border, and we crossed the border and we entered the Romanian country, and we stayed in Bucharest for around 5 days, and we were really treated warmly by the Romanian government. Every once in a while, we were also provided with a lot of food and nice place to sleep at. And then we went back to India. But the struggle of Indian students were not that was not that all, because when we reached India after around 4 months, there were articles released by our National Medical Council of India that they would not validate our degree if we will be attending the online classes this way. They wanted an offline degree, and they also wanted our practicals to be in a manner that should be our practices. So there in India, we had to go on protests to save our degrees. And at that time, that there was no possible way for us to come back, as the Ukrainians' airspace was closed, and the neighboring countries of Ukraine were also not providing us visas due to the national security. So we had to stand at various different embassy offices in Delhi for around 2 months, because we had tried applying visas for countries like Romania, Hungary, Azerbaijan, Dubai, Moldova, even Finland, and it turned out to be a failure. And the Polish embassy didn't had enough spots for appointment, so we had a delay for 1 more month. So due to this, all the students had to face a very heavy financial loss, which was very hard on our parents. These situations also made a lot of students consider the option of taking transfer, and a lot of my friends also had to take transfer against their will under pressure due to these issues. So currently you will find only 1/4 of the Indian students in Vinnytsia, and maybe in whole of the Ukraine we'll only find around 1/4 of the students. And we also were separated from a lot of students of ours, like a lot of friends of ours. And still the situation and these protests were not enough for the National Medical Council. and they still released a statement of extending the internship of all the foreign medical graduates for a duration of 2 years, which earlier was only for a year. So this was the most major disadvantage, or I would say a loss, that we had to face in this predicament. So last year in the month of April, I was able to come back to Ukraine through Poland. So we were greeted and welcomed very warmly by university deans. Even after the year of even after a year of war, and even after a year of staying away from our university, the management kept our luggages, and luckily we were able to retrieve our luggages, and the administration treated us really nicely even after this quandary, which really made us feel safe, secure, and overwhelmed. And after coming back, what I saw was there were a lot of people who had already left their cities due to war, which was really breaking my heart, because I saw a lot of families losing their houses, and they had to leave their homes and stay here, and they even lost their families. So it really broke my heart. And currently there are a lot of families living in the hostels that we're living in, and interacting with people from different cities was also a nice experience for us. If I talk about particularly about the girls and the female students here, I would personally see, I personally have seen a lot of girls coming back to country, and they came back to continue their further studies, because I thought the situation of war, I thought this would waver the hearts of a lot of students. But the female students, I see a lot of female students here, so they have come back to this country to continue their studies. So it was really nice to see them coming back, and they even traveled, like many of my friends have traveled alone, and they came back to Ukraine even in this situation. So it was really brave of them to come back. And if I talk about the security of the female students here, before and after war, I have seen and faced a little difference after coming back. Because if I talk about myself, I'm a Christian, and I usually go to the church once or twice a week, or maybe even more whenever I get time. So this has happened with me twice or thrice, and I would say there were drunk men who badgered. I was alone, so I got badgered. This hasn't happened to me in the previous years before the war, and after the war, it is a global situation, and I faced this in the country of India also. But before the war, I have never seen this happening with me. And this year, there were a lot of drunk men who badgered us while I was going to the church, and it was it was somewhat uneasy for me, but it was all okay, because it usually happens in a lot of places. So when I talked to other friends of mine about these situations, one of my friend, she came out with a situation about herself. Like two of her friends and herself, she was going out to get some groceries from Atabe, and she was stalked by a man who was carrying a knife with him. So it was not a deserted it was not a deserted place, and it was a main place, I would say. And it was a grocery store, so I cannot say that it was too much of a deserted place, but they had to face the situation. So I feel a bit concerned about them also after this situation, because this country was really nice, and we have never seen any kind of uh, problems, and we have never faced these kind of problems here. And other than this, I have never seen any kind of this gender discrimination or any kind of racial discrimination here, because this country is very nice and very warming and very welcoming to us. So I feel really nice to be a part of this country and staying here in this country. And women here are treated really gallantly and very gallantly, because amidst all the things, it makes me feel really secure and safe and cherished. And all the situations were really hard for us to handle, but we never lost hope, because our love for Ukraine was enough to make us come back and continue our studies here. And we stand with Ukraine as always, and we hope and expect the same in return. And being here in this country, I really hope that the war may stop soon, and And it should stop soon because it has affected a lot of lives, and it has also broken the families of many. So for future, I really hope the experiences that I have faced in my life teaches a lot of things to lot of like I've seen the situations, and I hope that this teaches me a lot of things, because at other part of the country there are a lot of people who have experienced even more and even more bad things in their lives. So I really hope that I stand with this country and I've become a good doctor, and I may serve the country and also the people who are in need. So I'll take my leave, and thank you so much for being this, like thinking of me being a part of this, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Somia, for your very spirited presentation, as all of you have said. And you have mentioned also like the very different kinds of experiences that you have gone through, which is somewhat expected in unusual situations in any country. Even in usual situations in countries, we do face different circumstances. And I wish you safety. I wish you good health. Now, I would like you to listen to one person who was not in the program. He is from Konstantinovka, which is just some 20 kilometers or so from the border, from the front line. He's one of my best students. Volodymyr Nazary Havrish, the student of the third year of International Relations in the National University of Kyiv Mohyla Academy. So please, maybe you can say in just a few minutes, not to take a lot of your time. Volodymyr Nazary, please, the floor is yours. Your experience of staying in such a spot and studying at the same time. You never miss classes. I've noticed this also.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we do.
Then I'll try to be very fast. Your Excellency, highly esteemed guests, the speakers, my professor, thank you all for being here. Thank you for inviting me as well, and thank you for giving me the floor. I've been thinking, what should I say? And since you've presented me, I should only add a few more things. I am indeed a student of the International Relationships, third form. I'm the master of the course, which is basically starosta. We call it the
Group
person
leader,
who communicates
monitor.
with the professors. Yeah, something like that. Yes, yes. I am indeed coming from Konstantinivka. I was born here. I pretty much live here. I've seen the war from 2014. I've seen what was happening here, the shelling, the people being evicted from their houses, from their property, being taken away the cars by the separatists. I've seen the wake of war on the 24th of February 2022. I still remember that day. It has imprinted in my memory. I was sleeping on my bed, and at 6 o'clock I heard the shelling. And at that moment I knew, bloody hell, the war has begun. The worst has happened. And from that point forward, the life was continuing forth. I'm currently studying online. I have many students that had to run away from the war. The life of mine was not the brightest one. I had multiple problems happening throughout this period of time, 2 years. I've become a victim of robbery. I've become a victim of multiple unfortunate circumstances, like having to run away from my household, having to abandon some of my property, though thankfully it's still intact for now. Having to live at 14 kilometers away from the front line, having to see many students that also struggle with their own problems, having to also run away from the war, and sometimes a problem with bureaucracy that I need to support them with. But all in all, what I wanted to say here is that albeit this is some hard times, this is not the best time to live on, some might say, but at the same time, it is the reality that we suddenly became victims of. It is the reality that we simply have to traverse forth, reality that we need to change as much as we can to make it back to peace. but not just some peace that would, become a ceasefire, some sorts like the Treaty of Versailles, but actual peace that would be sustainable for generations to come. For the hard times like this, we need to unite, like many speakers have already mentioned, unite as people and also unite as peoples. Because problem in one country in the era of globalization is problem everywhere. That can be seen by the increasement of the prices for food, not just in Ukraine, but everywhere. It can be seen through stories of speakers like here that some came from India to Ukraine to support us, which I'm very thankful for. And the stories of people who might have changed the world, but unfortunately will never be able to in their life because there are no more. My speech, I hope it was very short, but the summary of it is we simply need to understand that right now in the 21st century, hard times will happen again and again. We had COVID, we had 2008, a crisis, economical one. We currently have the war in Ukraine. There might be more, but at the same time, the determination of how we fight these crises is what matters. Not putting our heads into sand, but actually looking forth to it, actually speaking like on these conferences, getting more knowledge of it, and possibly coming up with solutions in the process and establishing communications that might come in handy in the future. That is all very important, and I'm very grateful that such conference has happened because many good points were made by my colleagues and by the guests. So, yeah, thank you. If you have any questions, I'll be ready to answer them on a Q&A. Yeah.
Thank you, Volodymyr Nazary. Thank you so much. And now I would like to ask if you have questions, very short ones and very targeted ones, to the speakers, to anyone, or you have a remark, just, in 1-2 sentences, please. Mr. Ufe Vitkayer, do you have any question? Your hand is raised. And
yes.
Also, yes. A short
Hello?
one, or you have a remark, please.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we do.
So, hello everyone, and thank you so much for this event, to Medula, the ambassador, and all the speakers. I'm very touched. My name is Uffe. I'm from Denmark. I am a founder of a citizen think tank, Europe Dialogue. And when I hear this, I just want to make a short proposal that I want to create a dialogue, global dialogue forum about peace, security, and democracy. And I am open to have dialogue with everyone here and everyone in the world. So I have written in the chat, and thank you so much for this event.
We will share your contacts with all the participants. I will send them the link to the video, to all the releases, post-release, and all materials. You have all shared your emails with us, so we will communicate with you, definitely. Thank you, Mr. Ufe Vitkayer. And Victoria Hapetchenko, one of the first-year students of the National University of Kyiv Mohyla Academy. Welcome. Your question, please, or your comment.
Okay, so I want to thank everyone for organizing this open dialogue. It was very interesting and fulfilling to listen to it. And I have a question for Ukrainian students, to Sophia and Volodymyr Nazary. I wanted to ask you, what can I do as a student, as a citizen, to help to create a more safe environment for me and internally displaced persons?
Sophia, would you like to take it up, and then Volodymyr? Yeah, please, short answers. Yeah.
Yes, of course, but only I wanted to specify. Victoria, do you mean how you can make a safe place for yourself to continue encouraging yourself studying? That's what you mean? How you can motivate yourself?
I meant more like for the people that surround me.
For the IDPs, for the internally displaced
Yes,
people.
yes.
Okay, so as for me, I will answer it really shortly. We are all young. We're all connected through social media, through any other platforms. So for me, the best way is to chat with each other online if you don't have a possibility to meet each other, because we know some of the students had to transfer abroad and they have no way of coming back. Maybe they don't have homes anymore, or they just don't have a chance. Chatting online and creating maybe groups, maybe even online Zoom meetings if you don't have a chance to meet. Maybe some quizzes and just some gatherings where you can discuss something fun. If you like, if you're like, if all of you likes, like, I don't know, reading of books, and you have a specific book, you can discuss it or something like that. Just find something similar that all of you are interested in. It will release the stress, it will release the anxiety as you all speak to each other. And if you guys have a possibility to meet, I would encourage you not only to meet with each other, but only to meet with also to meet with others. You can gather to go to some kindergarten and talk with children. You can gather to go to some hospital, and even you don't need any money to invest in, or you don't need any money to bring in. You can just talk with them. They really want to have a communication, and I can assure you that you will be happy, that you will feel so much joy after the meeting with them. You guys will feel so motivated. That's how I feel, at least, after seeing how they smile, after seeing how they hug you, after feeling their warmth. So shortly saying, try to go out together more if it's safe, and help others and help yourself, and try to do as much gatherings as you can. It helps your mentality, and it will help others, and it will help you specifically. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Volodymyr, please, your suggestion.
Yeah. Victoria, I'm an IDP, so I might have some direct things to say. I indeed agree with my colleague about talking. That sure does help. But at the same time, you need to understand that there's a certain pain that cannot be swollen in any way. Having to leave your house and sometimes even lose it because of the war efforts is a trauma that will linger on with the person for the rest of his life. So you need to understand that when you're going to talk with them. Don't expect them to fully recover. It will happen eventually. It will happen. Sometimes it will take some years after the war, but for some it might not ever end. But what you need to understand is that the biggest problems that such people might be facing is the housing. If you really would like to help them, you might even ask them, are you all right? Like, do you have enough food? Do you have enough money? Do you have a good house? You could help them with searching for possible households, like for rent. There's, well, unfortunately, due to war, there have been some market manipulations at the moment, but you could help them searching for the good rent house. If they have problem with the money, you could, well, propose them to become a tutor for children, like if they're good in English or geography or history. That's a good source of income. Don't tell the tax office, albeit. And if there's problem with food, well, the other two might fix it up, but at the same time, you could just call them for a, meeting up in cafe or some certain meetings. Like I remember there being multiple meetings back in Kyiv where you basically come in a gathering, like talk about politics or come about social problems, and they give free food. That might be the thing. This is the main three problems that we are facing at the moment. But indeed, communication is very important. Sometimes you just need to speak it out. So yes, I hope I've given you some things to think about.
Thank you, Volodymyr. I would like to ask if anyone else has questions, because we are closing towards the end of our discussion. Not much time left. So if you have any questions to the participants, please raise your hands. Yes, Mr. Armi Channa, please, your take. Yeah.
Your Excellency, Mridulaji, it's a pleasure to be here and listen to it was very touching, the whole event. And I would like to, because I have a connection with trauma, so I would like to have a brain trauma foundation working in Ukraine, possibly in the near future. I will be needing partners for that because as a foreigner, I can't operate a charity. This will be a fully functional charity, and I will give them my version because I had a brain stroke and I've been in coma for 2 days, had a paralysis for 2 years, was fully bedridden, lost my speech. So, but the thing is, your brain, this kind of trauma doesn't go away. It never leaves you. You always see the future of your life through the lenses of a trauma. So this war trauma will never leave Ukraine, but you have to learn how to adapt to it, how to look beyond it and look at the brightest side of the life. So maybe with my contributions, I can do something from Ukraine, and that is what I would like to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's a good point you have shared. Yes, the trauma issue is there. I would like also to say that the trauma is something that, depends on the spirit of resilience, how you take it as a challenge, and you need to overcome the trauma. Sometimes even physical traumas are very easy to overcome because physical trauma, if you protect your spirit, if you protect your soul is the main thing. That's the essence of what the body holds. Without soul, we have no life. So anyway, thank you. I would like His Excellency, Dr. Alexander Polishuk, if he has a comment to make. We will be very grateful that you've stayed on with us despite a Sunday, please. And then Anurag wants to say, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I really touched with the stories, and it doesn't matter what day, Sunday or Monday or holiday. It's a people's story, which actually I would like to thank you very much that you're sharing with us. Thank you, Anurag. Thank you, Somia, for your emotion and for your that you're sharing with us. Yeah, it's really, I'm very much grateful that you are staying in Ukraine, that you stood with us, that you are helping, that you are actually living with us, and yeah, it's very touchable. If you allow me 1 second only for the question which we got on the chat, it's about visa problem. I would like to say that we are intensively work with our neighboring country, including Moldova. Moldova last year opened the embassy in New Delhi, and I in a close contact with ambassador of Moldova. Next month, I hope that they will have the council division in the embassy, and so far I couldn't promise you that we will solve all of problems, but we actually try to help the students to make or to issue the visa as soon as possible. And thank you so much again. I'm just couldn't express my feeling because the stories is so touchable. And thank you so much, Sofia, what you are doing for as a Ukrainian for the students, for the kids, and I hope that we will have a chance to host you here again in India, and we will support heavily to promote all of your projects here. Thank you, and thank you, Professor Medula Gosh, for organizing this meeting, because it's very important, really, for us. If we are talking about problem, we are on a halfway how to solve them. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, sir, absolutely. I agree with you. Anurag, if you have to comment or add or answer anything, please, in short, just because we are short of time. If anyone else has anything to say, please.
Sure. First of all, thank you so much, Medula ma'am, for taking your time out and organizing this very fruitful discussion. His Excellency, Pan Posel, дуже дякую. This relation between India and Ukraine means a lot to us and to you also, I believe, sir. Anna, I have a request to you and to the ambassador, sir, that we need in India a lot of exhibitions like this in multiple cities.
Yeah.
Not only maybe on a paper version, we need in a video version. We want to show the atrocity, the Kherson flood. I have a small organization, House of Indians. We came forward during the Kherson flood with the city council, and we helped in a lot of donations. We need more people in India to know the atrocities what Ukrainians are facing. We need bigger exhibitions. We need more indulgence. We need promotion of Ukrainian language in India. Like people are studying French, people are studying Russians, people are studying different languages. We need more schools who can absorb the education system in which they can teach Ukrainian language also, to show the part of history, to show the struggle of Ukrainian people. So I believe that's my request. There is no question. We know that we all are working from our part, and let's do whatever it takes.
Okay, I would like to say that Ms. Olena Ilchuk has an announcement to make about about a very interesting initiative. It is not shaped yet, it is not formed, it is just something we are throwing into the air. We are still discussing, but let her explain it, and I think that there can be something like essay competition among the school children or even adults, for them to study Ukraine. That will push them to read about Ukraine and then write and then get more to know, because otherwise it is very difficult for us, like people like us, to organize. Such roundtables are good, but we can make it maybe once or twice a month, but these kinds of initiatives, when students will go to the library and pick up books and read and write something, then they start thinking, they look at videos. So that will help them reach Ukraine independently, not being told by somebody, like me telling somebody through the Zoom. They will themselves go and find out and write a paper, and then we have a commission or whatever, the jury committee, we all can participate, look at it, and then evaluate it. We'll ask our professors to come up there, and it will be a kind of an academic exercise which will keep them in the track of academia, and that will allow them to have growth, personal growth also. So please, Ms. Olena Ilchuk, your word.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I would like to introduce myself. Thank you. I'm Olena Ilchuk from Ukrainian Embassy, the third secretary. And first of all, I would like to thank you very much for the invitation and for your stories you shared today with us. And some of them were heartbreaking. Some of them were inspiring, but still they share same trait, our resilience, and thank you very much for demonstrating it. And as already mentioned, we have some initiatives from Indian side, and one of them is Sian Patel, founder of Global Education in India, reached our embassy in India with a request to host a students contest, among Indian pupils, Indian students, to gain more consciousness about Ukrainian situation among the younger generation in India on Ukrainian topics. So we're preparing it now. And the second one may be interesting for students. It is a proposal from PCT, Punjab College of Technical Education, and they proposed some of scholarships for Ukrainian students. Among them, 4 full scholarships with full coverage for study expenses for Ukrainians. So if you're interested, or if you know someone who may be interested, please, maybe I will share details with Mridulaji, and you can gain more knowledge and details about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, dear Olena, because, you know, it is very interesting to not just have chats and dialogues like this one we are doing. We will be doing it for the whole year. This is a project which just started. Please be with us. Once you have registered, we will be announcing the later events on other topics like Ukrainian sports, Ukrainian cinema, Ukrainian music, many other topics, you know. But the main thing will be the concern for human beings. That will remain as a vital thread through all our activities. That will never lose our focus. So this is going to be there all the time. And I will have, like, if we discuss Ukrainian art, we will have a lot of people that are interested in it, you know. It is endless. Ukraine is a Klondike for, you know, the more you explore, the more you get fascinated. The more you go deep, it is an enchanting country. You know, I don't want to talk about what I'm doing here, but at least I feel so happy today. This has been a cause célèbre for me to see all of you. And I would like, first of all, to thank His Excellency who has joined us, and His Excellency who sent us a message, the Ambassador of India, and also very honorable speakers, Anna Levchyk, Anurag Krishna, Sofi and Somia, and Somia Hazel. All of you have given us so much inspiration, you know, and I feel inspired to do more. Let me know if something was not okay, what we can do to improve, because it's a learning process for all of us. Each day we are learning and getting better. So please help us also learn. You have your suggestions, write them on the chat, send us by email your impressions. We will form this into a small publication, and we will put your feedback also. Please share your comments about the event with us, either through the chat or through the email that you have registered. Thank you so much once again, all of you. If Anurag, you have another thing, please then say, because I will be ending the meeting in 4 minutes. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just forgot to lower my hand. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Your
much.
hand was raised, so it didn't pain,
Yeah,
I believe. I hope your hand didn't pain. Okay. Thank you so much. I have a lot of interesting people here who are old friends, who are new friends, and who have come, who are students. So welcome to the first event, all of you, and let us travel this road together. Thank you very much. Slava Ukraini, as we say, all of us here. And in answer, what do we say? Please learn. This will be a learning process. When we say Slava Ukraini, everybody must answer. Героям слава. So let's start. Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава.
Thank you. Thank you.